We've not done CMO news in a while.
Damn, CMO news. What's happening in the CMOs, bro?
You're right.
No, could you tell us what's happening in the CMO?
Okay?
I'm trying
Can
to
you
be
calm down?
serious here.
You're not trying to be serious. That's what you're doing is the opposite of what you're saying. You're lying to your fans. The CMO. We've not talked about the CMO and the major players of this now. The major players of the CMO. We have Kamp. That's the Kenya Association of Music. But you're mocking me. Kenya Association of Music Producers. We have Pavrisk, which is something
Formerly Prisk.
Then we have
Kecobo. Oh no, well,
MCSK.
They were kind of exiled.
MCSK
were exiled.
MCSK dropped out of the race. MCSK dropped out of the race, man. They were and they were the loudest as well. But, hey, when you're caught, and now they've been quiet for a while. And then you have the big dog, big brother, Kecobo, who is the one doing all the things. So they recently, this past week, they were in the news.
We also have things like Reich, Eric Musyoka, but I guess they didn't win.
They're the alternatives.
They didn't win the bid to be able to collect
royalties. Yeah. This whole just as a precursor, this whole royalty collecting business in the Kenyan industry is just so messed up, and it's so unclear, as you're about to see. There's a lot of jostling for power. There's a lot of jostling for money, and it doesn't seem to be focused on the artists and that. So it's unfortunate, but anyway, the Kenya Copyright Board, Kecobo, has suspended the operating license of the Kenya Association of Music Producers for 3 months, effective 1st July 2026. Why have they done that? Now,
Tell us.
I'm about to.
Okay.
I was actually in the middle of doing that.
Sure.
They have been accused. All right, the Kamp has been accused of mismanaging royalty funds, failing to comply with regulatory directives and breaching governance requirements. Part of the accusations is that Kamp failed to comply with the 70-30 mandatory royalty distribution principle. Do you want to explain what that is?
So basically, of the entire pile that's collected, 70% of that is supposed to go to the artists and the creatives, aka us and you listening. And then 30% is supposed to go to the funds that they use
day-to-day running
to run the operations. Yeah, thank you.
So they were accused of failing to comply with 70-30, with the 70-30 mandatory royalty distribution principle, resulting in unjustifiable retention and expenditure of distributable, big words all in a row.
That's
royalties.
Literally the pot calling the kettle black. But let's carry on.
We'll get there. Yeah. To the detriment of the rights holders whom Kamp is licensed to represent. Like when you guys had the what do you call it? Had the power to distribute, you were actually distributing. And so the board directed, that's Kecobo directed Kamp to immediately cease undertaking all activities requiring a CMO license under the Copyright Act. Licensing, royalty collection, tariff negotiations, and other related activity mandated for a licensed CMO. So they've been told, none of that, you're not collecting anything. So then they gave, is it Pavrisk? They mandated Pavrisk to collect the royalties on behalf.
Shock!
Wow, we didn't see this coming. I did crazy. They gave Pavrisk the mandated Pavrisk to collect the royalties on behalf of Kamp and keep it in a trust until they sort out all of this stuff.
In a trust. That's like when
the trust the whole time being their pockets.
That's like when your parents when it's your birthday
and then
you get a bunch of money.
Yeah,
and
we'll keep it for you. You're not keeping it for me. Why, Dad? Why do you have new shoes right after my birthday? That was my money.
Wait, that happened to you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, my parents definitely collected money. It didn't
happen to me, but I know a lot of people.
Yeah, my parents definitely. Yeah, we had good parents, man. Some parents out there are crazy. My parents but they definitely collected money.
But that's
me.
Something that's definitely.
And I don't know if I've seen all that money, to be honest. But I like my parents, and so I want to trust that they used it for positive purposes. And I think they did. I'm alive today, so it's all because of the relatives giving envelope money on birthdays.
So that's a high bar. It's
a very high bar. That's what's going on, man.
So listen, that's the reporting. How much money did they say they mishandled?
Yeah, so they said that they mishandled 5.5 meter
So
big ones.
So it's my understanding that
Mics.
Camp received the mandate to start collecting royalties. I believe it was like October-ish or November-ish of last year.
If we're following along, yes.
I will not be gaslit because I know very well what Kecobo did in the initial stages. And this was early last year or the end of 2024. They kind of said that, listen, this is before the great rebrand, before Prisk became public.
Good way to put it, the great rebrand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Before all that happened, I remember they said, now, you guys, MCSK, y'all are gone. Camp, Skedaddle, we're now just going to be giving this to Pavrisk. And Pavrisk were mandated as the only CMO that's allowed
to collect
legally
royalties.
to collect royalties in the Republic of Kenya. And then Camp said, well, that is a bit suspicious. We do not like this. We're taking you guys to court. And you know what happened? They won. Camp won that appeal. The tribunal said, Kecobo, you guys are wilding. Give Camp the ability to collect the royalties. And Kecobo had to say, well, you know
fine.
what? Fine. But the thing is, I know Kecobo did not like that. Oh no, they did not
directly
like
from
that.
court. They went back to their rooms to start scheming again.
Bro, they've been scheming. Like, I'm sure Kecobo were there, like the instant, like they've just been waiting to whatever, like have an opportunity to get the power to do what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, granted, there may be like
a legit reason
why a legitimate reason. Like
Camp of
maybe Camp
embezzling.
Actually did not spend that 5 million correctly. That might be true. I don't know. Allegedly. But I know this is very vindictive. What's happening right now, I do not trust this at all.
Is not
because their initial plan was always to give Pavrisk the sole right to collect the royalties. And I don't trust Pavrisk because Pavrisk to me always come off as like the insider trading, like, deep state, like,
what I
mean?
Teacher's pet.
Yeah, like, bro, Pavrisk are the guys. Pavrisk are just very untrustworthy to me. And Camp felt like, in my opinion, they felt like they had a little bit of good interest for the artists and the producers, right?
Yeah.
And so this, for me, it just feels very, like, off. Something about this feels very off.
Yeah, and I think just as a side note, if you want a reason as to why we are reporting this thing like this with so much of, because someone might say, why aren't you guys reporting this thing neutrally, right? Because I'm just thinking about it.
It's impossible to be neutral.
First off, like, just a brief explanation of rights. I mean, if you've been listening to this podcast, you probably know we've talked about it a lot. But then royalties, if your music is, as an artist, you make music and then your artist is distributed everywhere and it's played everywhere. That music being played in many different ways. You can get deeper into it, but in many different ways, that music earns money. And so what these CMOs are doing are they're the collective management organization. So they collect the royalties on behalf of you and then give you it after taking their 30% of whatever percentage it is, right, for running the operation.
Every time somebody volunteers to be a middleman, that person is always sus.
The middlemen are definitely always suspicious, man. Like, they're always,
especially when they volunteer.
Yeah. And in this case, if the middlemen are fighting so hard for,
just know you're being finessed.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons I think we are, because I'm pretty sure there's people from those organizations listening and watching, and our goal is not necessarily to bash for bashing's sake, but then this is a really important part of the art industry, of the Kenyan art industry. And if the artists are not earning the money as they should, if essentially your taxes are not being used to better your country, then that needs to be called out, right? And so as much as we would want to have like good rosy stories about what these guys are doing, we don't see a lot of positives. And I think about this is that in all this CMO drama of people jostling and playing hot potato with people's royalties, we never see like a focus on we're trying to get it right for the artists. We're trying to ensure that artists are paid well, that artists are compensated well for their art. Art being a really important thing in people's lives. And so that's why we're being harsh. That's why we have our theories. That's why some of this stuff sounds a little bit like we're beating them down. But if you look at it objectively as an artist, we don't need to have all of this drama around an idea that is in principle simple, where you on behalf of me are going to collect the royalties, then you distributed it fairly to me. Unfortunately, it's been overcomplicated, and so that's why this sounds very harsh.
I personally don't trust it. These guys, they collect the royalties very well, but they just don't distribute it.
Yeah, knocking down doors and all that stuff, but they do not distribute it well, and so unfortunately, that's it.